for losing calories.
I mean, how many fat boxers do you know? Exactly.
Butterbean.
But wouldn't you watch the shit out of that?
Fuck yeah.
If everybody was built, if there was a boxing league where everybody was built just like me, they gas out after 4 punches, that would be fucking great.
I mean, you say that, but who the hell ever watches sumo? I mean, conceptually, it sounds amazing, right? It's a bunch of fat people dressed like toddlers pushing each other around and tipping themselves over.
They don't have the mobility for anything interesting, though. They're just kind of pushing each other slowly outside of a circle.
They need to punch.
That's not true. Have you not
There's
seen
no punching.
sumo? Well, yeah, there's no punching because that's the traditional rules of sumo.
Yeah, they suck at punching.
No, sumo is fucking cool. I actually went down a sumo rabbit hole not too long ago. There was like this really skinny sumo guy. He was awesome.
Yeah, so you have to be skinny to do anything awesome then.
Well, yeah, maybe it is just because he was skinny. That was cool.
There it
That's
is.
one way of looking at it.
Fat phobia in the wild.
Okay,
hate
so
to see that.
Other than the easy way out and saying eating or sleeping, what are things that fat people are good at that skinny people aren't? I'm not talking about in shape. I'm talking about somebody that is very sickly looking, such as Jackson, compared to somebody that is disgusting looking, such as myself.
Yeah, it's two different contrasts.
Better. You can probably take a punch better. I mean, if you fall,
Yes, you absolutely could.
if you fall, there's more padding too, I would imagine.
Yeah, so like if me and Jackson were to get into a fist fight, like he could just run around.
You would eat me.
He could just.
You would like destroy me.
I don't know that. I've never ever assumed that I could beat somebody based on their size because I don't know what their experience is. For instance,
very little experience. Let's just say that. I think you're fine. I think you've got age, skills, and weight on me, so that's fine.
One of the worst times that I've gotten my ass kicked was by somebody who is similar looking to you, except his skin is a little darker. He was a professional Thai fighter. And he
that's a bit different to me.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know what your skill set is, and I don't assume that I can beat somebody just because of their size. It's ignorant.
I want to hear that story. So how come you got your ass kicked by a TIE fighter?
Left a bad review on his podcast.
So we were actually very friendly, and this was back when I was much younger and fought quite a bit. And he showed up where I was at. I was drinking, of course, and he asked me if I'd be willing to go out in the back with him and go at it.
Did you get the wrong idea, or where'd the fighting come into it?
No, that's what I meant. He wanted to fight. He knew that I was a good fighter, and he wanted to take a shot, basically. So I got up and we went out back, and he just kicked the snot out of me. He fucking ran up me like a fucking spider monkey and kneed me in the bottom of the fucking chin. It was like getting hit with a goddamn.
So were you?
Go ahead.
Were you drunker or more intoxicated than him?
Oh, that's a good question.
I was feeling pretty good, but that did not come into play. He would have beaten me if he was drunk and I was sober. He was just more experienced and he hit harder.
Okay.
So did you have a reputation as like the neighborhood's fighter white trash boy, where just people from all around the country came up and to see if they can like beat you?
So I wouldn't try to put it out there like that. But yeah, I was. I used to fight a lot, Kai. I've talked openly about that.
Yeah, I didn't know people came for your belt, like your Afro Ninja.
Well, if I did have a belt, I lost it that day. That's for sure. But as a consolation, when we were all done and I got myself cleaned up, we went inside and played Mortal Kombat 3, and I won.
Wait, so after he beat your ass,
doesn't get much sadder.
You took him on in a video game?
Yeah, it was a different mindset, I guess you'd say. It wasn't like, oh, you beat me, so now we're mortal enemies. It was no different than what they do in UFC now when they hug each other. It was out of respect, you know.
Right. So yeah, you had a bit of respect for him. It was like a fighter's respect there.
So what do you think is your boxing record? Like how many victories and defeats?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know as well. Do you typically come out on top, or do you always get your ass beat?
I would say that it's probably split pretty evenly. When I lose spectacularly.
Well, you still kept your head in the game.
And make no mistake about it. If I was to fight somebody now, I'd get my ass kicked. I'm obviously out of shape. I am sore in places that I didn't know existed constantly. It wouldn't be pretty.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Would you be willing to like go for a round 2 against that fighter that we were just talking about?
Oh fuck no! He ended up going into the special forces and
Jesus.
yeah.
You gave him the
You're lucky you didn't
confidence.
snap your neck. You would have ended up in the alleyway fucking with a snapped neck. Christ.
Wow.
It's funny. It's a funny mentality to have because there's a lot of people which as I've gotten older, I understand. You don't necessarily have to solve problems with violence. I get it. It's a stupid mentality. I was an unhappy person. And I was just taking my aggression out on people. But
A lot of our conversations and such seem to end this way with you going, "I was an unhappy person."
yeah,
Are you happy now? Has
Yeah.
stuff changed?
I'm unhappy for different reasons.
Well,
Yeah, sitting behind a desk all day at work and working on doing projects and shit is not the pathway to happiness. I can fucking guarantee you that.
Well, I mean, I do love, though, that at the end of the day, sometimes when you do sit there, you get so bored, you and I start fucking around, and one of the things that we did end up doing was... So, for those who don't know, Doug is technically an essential worker. I don't know why, but his essential work consists of putting his head together with mine, and we designed the ultimate potato chip. We should put that photo in the show notes. So, you use...
What makes
This
it
is
the
what you get
ultimate
paid to
potato
do.
chip?
Doug was using his
So-
3D modeling and physics simulation software to model the ultimate potato chip. Spoiler alert, it looks like a fucking cardboard box.
So what was the logic behind it good though?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I could find that photo, that would be awesome. And
What was the logic?
the ultimate potato chip,
so-
Jackson.
So
Oh, yeah, I know. What makes an ultimate potato chip? That's what I'm asking.
I was on this tear where I was eating some kind of dip. I don't remember what it was. Green onion dip or something with Ruffles potato chips. And I learned that if I started stacking the grains of the chips perpendicular to each other, I could scoop up a lot more dip.
You're a genius.
This is way too technical
it's
for
not,
them,
It's
Doug.
not to do with like the shape of flavor or anything. You're just trying to
Doug, do you
create
still
the
have that?
perfect like dipping.
Do you still have that diagram
I-
render that you sent me?
No, I don't think I do.
Damn it! You should have fucking
Why? It
patented that.
sounded like a great
It's
idea.
Lost to the ages.
So it was more about the structural integrity of the chip as opposed to the flavor of the chip.
Wait, how the fuck do you like quantify the structural integrity of the chip? Did you get into like the DNA molecules of the chip? Like, how do you change the structure of that?
So I when I modeled it, I created as a light resin with trying to get as close as I could to the properties of a fried potato. But then you can just run simulations on it, change the structure, and then run more simulations.
Sounds like the worst college thesis.
Bullshit, it is.
Sounds like a pretty decent college thesis to me.
Yeah, what the fuck? I cannot find it, and it's actually upsetting me now. I was really looking forward to showing people that thing. I was proud of our progress that we had made. In the meantime, though, Charlie, you've been using a service lately. Tell us about it.
Fiverr? We talking
Mhm.
about Fiverr out here?
Yes, you can fight
Yeah.
fighters, you can fight 3D designers if you needed your own potato chip model. To tell us.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can't find on Fiverr, to be honest. There's something for everyone there. And it's all just right at your fingertips. It's beautiful. No matter what your project is, you can find someone to help get in there with it, have some experience, and really just take it to the next level where you're not, finding someone that you can't trust. You can always find what you're looking for. Jackson, take it away.
So yeah, you can check out Fiverr at fiverr.com. That's fiverr.com and receive 10% off your first order by using our code official. So yeah, find all the digital services you ever need in one place at Fiverr, fiverr.com. Code official. That's fiverr.com, code official. Head on over there and find the people you're looking for. It's not a dating service, a professional person.
Well-
If you're looking for a professional person or a freelancer, go to Fiverr.
You can also find girls who will play video games with you in exchange for money.
That is also something you could find on Fiverr, should you choose to want that.
Doug.
Noted. I'm looking now.
Do you play a lot of games these days, Doug?
I don't. I was looking at the PS5 trying to decide if I'm going to go that route or not, but I typically just don't have the time. I want to. I just don't have the time.
Too busy with potato chips?
Well, that's at work. That's different.
Oh, that makes sense then. Yeah, fair.
So
That's fair.
how was your experience on Monday, man? So Doug and I decided we were gonna try to do OMAD again, 1 meal a day. We buckled after like, what was it, Doug? 2 days? On Tuesday, we decided, fuck it, let's just do the regular 16 hours by 8 hours intermittent fasting. And you told me that the first day was so fucking bad you couldn't focus on anything at work.
Oh fuck! It was horrible. I was sitting there trying to get something done, and I just kept thinking about food. I really would go for a pizza right now. I could have some fried chicken right now. And it's just nonstop. I'm sitting here trying to write a report for the board of directors, and all I'm thinking about is, let's see, I could have this chicken on this sandwich. I would put so much tomato on there.
Your report just turned out to be fucking. You just wrote a recipe.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking menu when I'm done.
The way God intended, man.
And the funny thing, when me and Kaya do this stupid shit, it's we do our best to try to shame each other into making poor decisions. And then we lock into a commitment with each other that we're going to follow through on this OMAD for 30 days. And then we spend the rest of the time trying to get the other one to buckle just so we don't have to.
No,
so we start.
You don't want to be the first to, you don't want to be the one who threw in the towel. So each one of us is always just trying to get the other one to say, I quit, so I can just guilt-free run to the fridge. But, well, we did it once for 30 days. None of us buckled. That worked, and I think you lost some weight. I felt better, for sure. But
then why'd you go back?
I don't know.
Because eating is eating, man.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah. It's difficult when you're not, I guess not, even doing it for a month, that still does not turn it from this one bet into a lifestyle. It just, even over the period of 30 days, it's still a very radical thing to suddenly change in your life, and it's just difficult to stick with it. You tried, Jackson.
Don't you get bored of eating ridiculously fatty and sugary food? I know it's an addiction, but like if you were having fried chicken every day, I feel like within the first maybe like 5 days, I would just be done with it and would not want to have it again for like the next 6 months. Food has to be spaced out for me. Like special food or fatty food or whatever has to be spaced out for me to still enjoy it. Does that not happen for you? Like, Doug, could you eat KFC every single day?
No, it's no different for a fat man than it is for a skinny man, Jackson. We still have taste buds. You get bored with shit for sure. I think the key difference though is when to get into the same shape that I'm in, you're not treating food as something that's needed to survive. You're treating it as a crutch. So, you eat because you need calories and you need nutrients. I eat because I'm happy or I'm sad or I'm bored or a reward, right?
Regardless of the mood.
So comfort. Food is your comfort.
Reward, punishment.
I'm just giving an example. Yeah, I think that people eat for different reasons, and when you find yourself taking in an enormous amount of calories, more calories than you burn, you find yourself unable to fight anymore.
Yeah, to be fair though, like food addiction, this came up before, I don't know in what episode, but food addiction is different from all the other addictions because there's no way for you to quit cold turkey and not eat at all. It's like, you have to eat something.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough one.
Yeah, it's not like, imagine if you had to use a little bit of heroin every day, but you just can't use too much. That's what fasting is like for a fat person, is if they're trying to drop the weight. You can't just go a whole day or a whole week and not eat anything. So Doug, I asked you this and you just ignored it as one of my fat jokes that I make throughout the day, but have you ever used their influence at your company to decide what goes into the vending machine? Or to get the vending machine moved closer to your office.
Yeah, it's surprising I didn't take that question seriously, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a good question, too, to really think about, because you could do that if you wanted to, I imagine.
I think that they would probably know that there's ulterior motives if I was to suggest, hey, you know the vending machines downstairs in the cafe? I think it would be better suited if we brought them upstairs right outside my office.
You can be the cool boss that just wants to make
productivity.
Yeah, wants to make sure everyone's got plenty of energy with nice, I don't know, whatever Doritos or whatever you stack in there.
What do you think?
And all it is honey buns. There's nothing else in there now. Sorry, that's what I've got to do.
Hero. What a sacrifice.
So honestly, what do you think is the most, again, for those who don't know, Doug is at a pretty respectable position in his company. What do you think is the most shameless thing you could possibly get away with using your influence for in terms of just getting food within your reach?
Oh.
Like a chocolate
probably
fountain?
I would no
private chef.
I was going to go a different route. I was going to say probably in making a hiring decision for ulterior motives, if that was the case.
Oh, okay.
You hire,
eat a person?
No,
you hire someone that's a good cook.
Okay, you got me wrong. I meant in terms, how the fuck would hiring the wrong person get you more food? Were you thinking of like hiring a chef?
So Kai,
You're smuggling Kit Kats.
You asked a question and it wasn't necessarily a food related question, or I didn't take it as such.
No, I said in terms of getting food closer to your, food related. What's the most influence? Can you swing your weight around, so to speak, to, I don't know, write all Chip's expenses off as business expenses?
You're being ludicrous. I think what I could probably do.
You've gone too far, Kyle.
It's impossible. No one's ever wrote those off. I've tried.
I think what I could probably do is get some catering brought in under false pretenses just to get some free donuts or something.
Okay, that's still pretty impressive. I wish I could do that. Can I do that on the official podcast? Money.
Not on the company dime.
Not unless Doug is here.
On that note, I did find the diagram that Doug rendered. Jackson, if you want to put this up on screen, otherwise everyone can also go to our Patreon chat, our Patreon Discord, and see this in the chat. Let me see.
This doesn't look like a chip.
That's because it's a fucking new design.
Yeah,
negative Nancy.
It doesn't look edible. What are you talking about?
It actually looks like a wall. It just, it looks like
you're creating a structure.
A piece of architecture, perhaps. It's like a raft. This looks like something that Jesus Christ was pushed on when he was a baby.
A cardboard box.
That's what I said, but it looks like something that would not buckle under the weight of dip.
Are you even proficient at your job, Doug? This does not look like a chip at all.
All right, so I challenge you to design a better chip then, Jackson. And you can't use fucking Legos.
I think I could. I'll just... Okay, well, that's uncalled for. I could scribble on a piece of paper and do better than this. You've created a cardboard box.
What I'm curious about, Jackson, is why you have so much animosity towards me. Did an older fat man do something to you when you were younger?
Potentially. Maybe it's all like subconscious.
Jackson, I don't give a shit of what my chips look like if they taste good, and if I don't have to do that, like, the frail, oh no, is it gonna break? Is it not gonna break?
It's gonna taste like fucking cardboard.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to taste like cardboard just because it looks like it.
Yeah, this is just a baseline. First of all, Jackson, you can still sprinkle all the Cheeto dust on this as you want and flavor it as much as you want. This is just a baseline.
In all the technical details on this picture that Doug has sent, I'm not seeing any descriptions of like flavor or ingredients.
Because flavor... One, I'm not a flavorologist, Jackson. Flavors are added after the initial making of the chip. They're just sprinkled in.
The initial part.
Jackson,
it's going to go to the taste department.
Doug is like a chip's architect. What you want is an interior designer for the flavor afterwards, after the house is built, after the chips is built, after it's manufactured perfectly to these specifications, which are patented under the official entity from this point on. Sorry, Doug.
Jackson, do you think that the same guy that came up with the Pringle shape is also the one that said, I want to have a waffles and chicken flavor?
What the fuck is a waffles and chicken flavor?
That's ridiculous.
Okay, Doug. Same thing. This is the new Pringles flavor.
You said you designed the most delicious and the best.
No, I didn't.
Potato.
I specifically said the structural.
Recording.
No,
I specifically said the structural integrity of the chip.
To be fair, in Doug's defense, he said the ultimate chip. He never mentioned flavor.
Well, all right. Okay. Well, ultimate chip's still fucking kind of like I would think flavor has a big part to do with the ultimate.
But
chip.
Jackson,
so would I.
We specifically did mention the bullet point though that it has what makes the ultimate chip the most ultimate chip is dippability. So it has to be dipped in something, and the flavor then depends on the dip mostly.
Well, if you want to get the best dip, go get a fucking spoon. It's already been designed.
Disgusting.
You're designing a chip.
Yeah.
That was one of the dumbest things I've heard, Jackson. Are you kidding me?
What about a shovel? I'm just saying there's plenty of dippable things out there. You haven't designed anything.
Jesus Christ, you are such a pain in the ass.
You're a fraud, Doug. You're a fraud.
You took something that is a shitty premise to a conversation and strung it out over the course of 20 minutes in hopes that, you know, it's not like I've made $1 million off of my new chip design. It was a throwaway joke between two people who became public.
Well, you brought it into the official domain, and then we have to talk about it.
I did not. Your co-host did.
Someone did. I didn't do it.
Someone did. Why don't we just say Kaya?
It's like Voldemort's name.
Yeah. Can't say Kaya out loud.
I'm just proud of it. Fuck you.
God, so fucking dumb.
You guys are being downers.
You didn't design it.
Jesus Christ.
If you don't want to invest,
You
I
are
don't
an
give a shit.
unhappy individual.
Doug and I are now looking for angel investors. If you don't want to put your money on this train, that's on you.
Actually, and also somebody that understands flavoring of potato chips after manufacturing.
That would be
no one's going to
important.
invest in this product if you can't describe the taste.
You've been watching too much Dragon's Den, Jackson. Someone would absolutely invest in this like piece of
they
wood.
wouldn't.
Yes, they would.
How much? Well, what percentage of your company are you giving away, and for how much?
So before this conversation, I would have said $50 for 100% of the company.
Just sell it, yeah.
Yeah, here's this fucking JPEG. Here you go, $50. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Something chips related, I'm sure though. Fuck me.
So, have you guys tried those really thick chips? I don't know what brand they are, but they are, in my mind, if you have a potato chip standard size, it's good. And then if you have one triple the size, it should be triple as good. That's not how it is in reality. I don't know if you've tried those chips or not, but they're like double baked, fried something or other.
Double.
I haven't tried those, no, but
are they a brand or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that they're thicker than. It's like eating half a potato, except with some sour cream and onion flavoring on it.
No, I haven't seen those, but
No.
when I do eat something,
thinner chips.
when I eat something like Pringles, where they are made to match and be stacked, I do stack them like a motherfucker. I'd eat the whole can in one bite if I could, like a goddamn hammerhead shark. That's what my cheeks will look like. No, just me.
Yeah, that's them in the chat that I was talking about.
It's Ruffles.
Kyle,
Ruffles aren't like turbo sized or anything. They're kind of just normal size. Those are old.
No, the double crunch.
I haven't heard of double crunch, to be fair.
So Kyle, when you eat Pringles, do you do that thing where you put them in your mouth so that you got you got the top part of the chip in your upper lip and the bottom part of the chip in your lower lip, and then you wear it like a mouthpiece?
What?
Wait, are you 5? You play with your food like that?
That's just me then? Okay.
Absolutely just you.
Like a retainer? I'm confused as to how that would work.
Yeah.
Can you sketch that up in your program? We need visual proof.
I think that's probably a good marketing scheme for fat people. It's like a fat person retainer.
Blocks the food from coming in. Yeah. But it tastes good while it does it. You're like licking the inside of the chip.
Yeah, no. I know I'm not the only person that does that. It fits too perfectly for me to be the only one that's discovered it.
I'm gonna try.
You truly are a visionary, Doug.
But I'm not sure as to. I might send you some selfies later. Like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Is this? No. Okay.
Yeah, Charlie, tell us about Raycon.
I use Raycon for pretty much any time I'm active, like working out or anything like that. They're wireless earbuds. It's the same amazing like sound from all the other premium brands, but at half the price. It's just an extremely great pair of wireless earbuds. So I think it's something super important when you're active to have something that's not like intruding on your ability to stay active, and like the wires dangling and getting like tangled and shit like that is always just a hassle. So I really do think wireless earbuds. I just do think they're really important for when you're active like that. So I highly recommend them. I've been using Raycon for about a year now almost, and I just really like them. I think they're great.
So the newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, they're the best ones yet with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. So now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/OP. Those are the letters OP. That's buyraycon.com/OP for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/OP. Like I said, we recommend those Everyday E25 earbuds. So go check them out.
Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to go check them out. I've got a pair of wireless earbuds that I have that's not that brand. And every time I'm out mowing, my left one just falls out for no fucking reason. It's like my ears are different sizes.
It's fucking terrible.
That won't happen with Raycon, so go get Raycon.
Do you have like, what do they call it, cauliflower ear from your years of fighting?
No, typically that's from wrestling.
Yeah, that's just from like headlocks and shit. They grind the ear down.
I thought it was from like the
what does that even,
head guards or whatever they're called.
How does that even happen? I thought that's like if you take repeated blows to the ear and the cartilage like comes apart or something.
No, I'm pretty sure it's from like headlocks, because like when you're getting headlocked in the WWE, you're getting like rustled around in there, so it's just a lot of friction on your ear, and I imagine like the heat melts it like plastic.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure you get it a lot from rugby as well, like in scrums and such.
Yeah, pretty much anything where I think there's a lot of friction, like skin on skin shit like that, I think is what causes it. I don't know. I'm not a WWE wrestling injury scientist or anything, but that's what I'd guess.
Going back to previous conversation, though, that is a very good indicator that you're getting ready to get your ass whooped. If you start getting into an altercation with somebody, always look at their ears first.
Okay, just examine their ears.
I'm just gonna try and avoid the fight.
Close.
Yeah, I'll just skip that step.
No.
Why don't you just be blunt and direct and go, hey, are you good at fighting? This will determine if I want to fight or not.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why I never thought of that.
Yeah, why don't you just ask?
So is it like,
he was shy?
you know how there's supposedly some formulas you can run on a man, like his ear to nose size ratio or some shit, and you can determine his dick size? Is that like with fighting too? You look at his ears and you can tell how many years he has under his belt?
So you can definitely tell what type of experience he has. If somebody is have you ever seen anybody with cauliflower ear that couldn't kick your ass?
That's fair.
Yeah, I have. I've seen like scrawny, like with rugby, like scrawny wingers and such.
Isn't?
Who still have cauliflower
Isn't rugby
ears.
still?
And you think you could kick their ass?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I could kick their ass. I think you could kick their ass, Doug, for me, while I stand in the back waving my little white flag.
So based on our history together, Jackson, that there is as of right now, there is no chance of me standing between you and anybody.
I don't believe that. I think you're a big softie. I think you protect me.
Yeah, I think mama bear instincts would kick in. If you saw Jackson getting slapped around, you'd be like, fuck, I gotta do something.
And then I'd be injured and you'd come over and hold me and rock me back and forth.
Oh, I'd carry you away like on The Bodyguard.
Yeah, that's good enough for me.
I'll
take
pretty
anything
good.
I can get, Doug.
That's sweet. You did mention
that's just
that when you're out in the
my dream.
yard doing mowing the lawn or whatever with your headphones. So I think from the last time that you were on here, we owe you an apology, because the last time we had you on, we called you a redneck handful of times.
Yeah.
And since then, there's, some information has been revealed to me by the Doug, and I don't know how much of it you want to be public, but Doug is honestly...
What the fuck are we talking about?
I'm just saying that, with all the things that I know about you since then, is that you are probably the least rednecky out of us all, and I don't know how much of your very fragile toxic masculinity you'd like me to tear down right now.
Wait, even more redneck than me? I mean, less redneck than me?
Probably. So, do you want to tell them about your flower bed, Doug?
Oh, Doug.
That's so cute, Doug.
So I'll tell it the way that I told Kaya.
Okay.
I got these fucking flowers in my bed, Kai. I fucking hate them, but I love them.
Okay, so when I was younger, my dad, who is also the one that instilled this need to punch people in the face, I was, I don't know, maybe 17 or so. He ended up pulling me out in the front yard and said, "Hey, Doug, I want you to come out and look at something." And
It beats your ass.
it was a
Just pummels you into the flower bed. That's where your love for flowers came from.
Cushion the blow, yeah.
Okay, so I'll let you guys decide which story you want to hear. Do you want to hear the story? No, hold on.
You tell it.
We can do them both, but in which order? So the time that my dad took me out in the front yard and showed me his roses that were blooming, or the time that my dad came in and grabbed me by the neck and lifted me up? Which one do you want to hear?
Let's start with the roses.
Yeah, I wanna start with a nice feeling.
Okay, so he took me out in the yard and he was very proud of these roses that he had planted. And as I told Kaya, that day I kind of lost, I don't know why, but I lost respect for him. Like he was soft. It was something that I'd never experienced is my dad showing me a side of him like that. It was always a much more masculine. So fast forward to this year, I have started planting roses, and I'm all proud of them. Like when they come up and start blooming and the buds and all that shit. It's a super gay story. That's what Kaya's trying to get me to say is I am emasculating.
Well, don't you see how this is a very?
I don't think there's anything wrong with.
It's a very redeeming arc. You used to. You were raised by this violent drunk, presumably he used to just fight around the neighborhood just like you. One day he shows you a rose bed, you lose respect for him, and now all these decades later, you have your own flowers.
Continuing in his footsteps.
So speaking of story arcs, that same man, the first time that I beat him in arm wrestling was one of the worst days of my life. I can remember the look on his face, like, okay, so this changes things now. So now my son, who he's probably 6'4", getting close to 300 pounds, but he's a professional power lifter.
Wow.
Holy shit.
He won't arm wrestle me because he knows that story about the shift between me and my dad when that happened. So he doesn't want to do that to me, which I think is respectable, even though I stopped somebody from sucking his dick.
Does he know that you play with flowers? Because it sounds like it's going to happen anyway, Doug.
So I don't want him to know that part of me.
Play with
Can't
flowers.
see the nice
I like the
part of
wording,
Doug.
by the way. So hang on, So what happens when you arm wrestled your dad? How old were you, first of all?
Probably 21 or 22.
Okay, so his problem was that you had finally outgrown him, and he no longer could dominate you.
So we used to arm wrestle maybe once every 6 months or so, depending on how the conversation would come up. And I came in, sat down at the kitchen table, and said, "All right, I think I can get you this time," and I did. And it was fucking heartbreaking. I can't put it into words. I can't articulate it how it felt, but yeah, it wasn't a good feeling.
Pussy. If I was that dad, or if I was your dad, Doug, I would have been proud of you. Wouldn't you have been proud of your son if he beat you at arm wrestling?
No.
Why not? It's like a your bloodline's strong, Doug. It continues on. With big muscles.
Yeah, this ain't fucking Game of Thrones, man. It's real life.
Yeah, I think a healthy parent-son relationship is like...
What about me makes you think that I had a healthy relationship with anybody ever?
Yeah, true. The only thing you got a healthy relationship with is your roses or whatever.
So what if you're doing your son a disservice, though? Because one day you're gonna die, and what if your son at your funeral is just full of self-doubt? He'll never know if he could have won.
Well,
good.
You can arm wrestle.
I'm pretty sure if he's 6'4", 300 pounds, I'm pretty sure we can just go off stats here and say he'd probably beat Doug's ass in arm wrestling.
There's gonna be just this little voice in his head telling him that he just wasn't good enough, that he never found out if he was really the top dog in the house. And the voice is gonna get louder, Doug.
So, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. It's something he's gonna have to learn to wrestle with. So
what a father.
Interesting
good lesson.
is I just talked to him the other day, and he is going to get tested. He's signing up to be a police officer.
Best time.
What's that?
The best time.
Yeah, no time like this to be a cop. Best of luck to him. Get him a bulletproof vest if you can. So?
Yeah, was that story going anywhere? Were you bragging about your son being a cop?
So do you really think I bring that up to be bragging?
I don't know. I don't know where it was going. He just paid it off.
Isn't there something like, pride in your son, I would think? I don't know. I feel like if I had a kid, I'd probably brag about good things they do.
So I figured,
that's what I mean.
I figured on the way that this show works is me talking to 3 other people that I could say something and somebody would jump in and say, "Oh, why would he do?"
What the fuck am I meant to say about your son being a cop?
Oh wow, Doug, why do you think he's doing that?
It's not important at this point. Kaya, do you remember when you and I talked a couple weeks ago about the last time I was on, and I said I couldn't figure out why Jackson has so much animosity towards me?
You said it this episode too, actually.
Right. But I'm just bringing it up again because I think it'd be now as good a time as any time to have that conversation.
Okay.
What is your fucking problem, Jackson?
Doug, calm down. It's a comedy show, man. Take it easy.
No, I want fucking answers, and I want them now.
I just think you're.
I want it too.
Yeah.
I just think what you have done to your son is disgusting.
What?
What? I didn't fuck him. What the fuck do you mean it was disgusting?
Your refusal to show your sensitive side is repulsive, is what Jackson's saying.
Give him a bouquet of flowers and apologize.
Or you could.
So only then will I accept you.
Can I do the other artistic and somewhat romantic, soft-hearted thing you do, Doug, as a hobby?
Oh, please, yes. Give us more.
I'm curious to see where this goes. Sure, let's talk about it.
Doug is a painter. He paints guys for fun, as a hobby. And I've
seen
seen
his
his paintings.
Pretty manly, unless it's like...
Well, he paints flowers and fences,
that
but
kind of painting.
It's still very, not really, you wouldn't expect Popeye the Drunk Sailor to be painting, right? So all in all...
From the pieces you've seen, what's probably his finest work?
What is his finest work? I don't know. They're all kind of good. I'm not really an art critic, so I wouldn't know.
Really?
How the fuck would I know? I'm not an art critic.
Well, yeah, but you can obviously tell when art is shit. Like, is Doug doing splatter painting where he's like, I don't know, eating the paint and spitting it onto the canvas? Or
Doug, you describe it. It's not splatter modern art shit. It's actual, you can make out what it is.
Nice.
No, this is such a fucking gay conversation that I wasn't expecting on having.
Doug is so awkward now.
You're the one doing it.
See, this is the problem.
Why do you?
We need to move past this.
Can I ask, why do you paint? Why do you paint, and why do you like grow flowers and stuff, knowing that you personally think that it's gay to do that?
No, so I don't think that it's gay to paint. I don't think that it's gay to plant flowers. I think that I have a mentality that I have lived with my entire life, that if you want to do something and the majority of society doesn't think that it's manly, then you need to keep it to yourself. And I'm learning that that's not the case. If somebody doesn't like that I paint, go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit. I'm a grown man, and if I'm going to fucking paint, I'm going to paint. I don't care what you think. I also tried my hand at knitting and crocheting, but I just suck at it, so I don't do it anymore.
No, that was a bit too far.
To my credit, I was very I was very accepting of your alternative lifestyle of you painting and playing with flowers. I've always been supportive.
Yeah, so yeah, and that's why I've decided to come out as an avid painter,
as a botanist.
I'm sure that each and every one of you do something, and I'm not talking about your sexual depravity or anything. You do something that you think the majority of, let's say, your listeners would find odd that you do.
Yeah, and guess what, Doug? That's the topic of nearly every fucking episode, is my Lego and Star Wars and all that kind of embarrassing shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but so Legos is much different than anything else.
It's not in the eyes of the general public.
Yeah,
believe me.
Legos are fruity. I think we can all agree on that.
You've got to own it. You don't give it the power over you, Doug. Own your gardening and painting. Do it.
So I'm definitely not looking for your approval, Jackson.
Good, I wasn't going to give that. I wouldn't play with flowers.
Do you own any plants, Jackson?
No. Yeah, I do actually.
Jackson used to own those fish. Remember when Jackson condemned that entire aquarium to die?
Oh yeah.
Don't say that. I never once threatened those fish with any kind of bodily harm.
You fucking turned the air off
for an hour. That's more than that's fine. They didn't even notice.
Okay, Jackson, let's turn the air off to your room for an hour. How would you like that?
That's not how it works. They had oxygen tanks pretty much. They had so much oxygen in there.
Were you cleaning the tanks or something, Jackson?
No, he did it for the episodes. He turned off the aquarium because he didn't like how it sounded.
No, I didn't. I was fine with how it sounded. People were complaining that they could hear it in the background and such.
I couldn't hear it.
Okay, do you guys think your answer to this is very important in where this conversation goes? Do you think that there is such a thing as, say, cruelty to fish, the same as cats and dogs?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think so. Yeah,
they're sentient.
Okay, then like I said,
do you not?
Oh, I'm. It's not relevant anymore. Move on.
He's changed his opinion, Jackson.
So none of you. I personally don't like fishing. Do you guys fish at all?
No, I haven't.
I think it's boring.
Yeah, I fished when I was like a kid a long time ago.
I've never tried
catch
it.
and release stuff, but it wasn't very fun.
You've never tried it, Kyle?
No, I might like it if it's nice and idyllic.
It's boring.
I personally think fishing is fucking stupid. I've never been a fan of it. I also don't personally think that hunting is spectacular.
Mm.
No, that shit sucks.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's literally for food and you're providing for yourself, then I get it. For sports, not so much.
What if you're hunting for great underwear?
Doug, did you read the document I sent you?
I did.
Tell us about Mac Weldon,
and
Doug.
I would be just as awkward about it as you guys are, but
go.
Did you know you could? Did you know you could create an account, the Weldon Blue Loyalty Program, and you can sign up for free?
Okay. How about it? What about it?
If you go on there and create the account and place an order, you'll never pay shipping from them again. And once you purchase $200 worth of products from Mac Weldon, not only will you continue to receive free shipping, but you will also start saving 20% on every order you make for the next year.
Holy shit, actually, that's it. That is good. Okay, that's Mac Weldon, Doug?
Yes.
How do you spell that?
MacWeldon.com.
And then you enter what promo code, Doug?
OP.
That's right. For what? Is this how your business presentations go? Come on, you're a businessman. Present something.
No, I fucking prepared.
Like a hostage situation.
Nobody ever, in the history of ever, has ever brought me into a meeting in 2 hours and said, okay, propose our project for us. Go.
So I gotta say, I'm disappointed.
I was expecting a lot more from an industry professional.
So do you want me to come off as sincere or insincere? Because if I come off as sincere, then you'll never have these guys again.
Oh.
I want to do your fucking job, Doug. Talk about Mac Weldon.
What do we pay you for at this company?
So, around the table, everybody, tell me what kind of underwear you're wearing right now.
Mac Weldon.
Mac Weldon.
Doug, I see you didn't read the copy. It says, don't even mention underwear.
No, that's not what it says. It says, don't mention undie.
That's true.
He's got you on the undie technicality.
It's not turning into a debate.
Has worked. Well, Mac Weldon's a lot more than
what they pay for.
Mac Weldon's a lot more than underwear, though, boys. Socks, shirts, underhoods, hoodies, sweatpants. Pretty much anything you can imagine you can find on Mac Weldon. It's got a robust catalog of all kinds of beautiful wear that you can find and get 20% off on at MacWeldon.com using promo code OP. It's simple, easy to use, quick. It's just the optimal way of shopping.
They just create the most comfortable devices to put on your body that you could even imagine. They believe in smart design, premium fabrics, and simple shopping, and boy, does it show. So please visit macweldon.com and enter promo code OP for 20% off your first order. That's macweldon.com and enter code OP. Go check them out. They really do create some of the best stuff you can put on your body.
See, Doug, that wasn't so hard.
When you guys get into it, you sound really good doing it.
Thank you.
All we needed was you to lead us there.
Now I really want to hear that story about your dad grabbing you by the neck and doing what exactly?
So I was
naked
in a place called Hazard, Kentucky.
Okay.
And let me rephrase that. So I was in a place called Harlan, Kentucky, drinking with my dad and a guy who was what they call a Kentucky colonel, I think. His name is Toby.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on the porch and my dad walked up for no reason out of the blue and said, "What do you do when somebody does this to you?" And he used both hands, grabbed me by the throat, and lifted me up out of the chair.
What did you do?
Wow, yeah, fucking Homer Simpson by your dad. That's pretty wild. Weren't you like in good shape at this point? Because this is a long time ago, right?
Yes, I was in good shape at the time. Yeah. And what I did was take my hands, go up over my, go up and around and try to slam his hands down. And he throttled me even harder and said, "That's not what you do."
What do you do?
You're apparently the only correct answer from my dad would have been to take my hands as if you're going to pray. So it'd come up underneath and then shoot them straight up, because then if your arms force their arms apart.
That's fair.
Oh, right. So this was an actual learning moment.
Yeah. And I've remembered it ever since.
So if your dad ever comes back and tries to pick you up, you know exactly how to counteract it now.
Doug goes into his karate stance like the prey.
He like starts grabbing your ass. What do you do here? Who do you tell?
What do you do when I have 3 knuckles inside of you?
Tell mommy? No, that's not what you do.
Remember how I told you to put your hands together and pray? Do that again.
But hold this as he's unzipping.
Ooh.
What?
Disgusting.
That's Doug's dad you're talking about.
Show some respect.
Okay, sorry. What? Is he dead by now, Doug?
No.
Oh. I don't know why I assumed he was. He's not dead?
No.
You're not doing your job. So you would have finished the job by now.
So do you think you could...
No, we actually get along very well.
Okay. Do you think you could kick his ass, though?
Oh, of course.
Well, yeah, he's got to be like frail and old by now, right? Like he's whittled. He's out of prime shape. This is Doug's time.
Yeah, should fucking grab him by the throat.
He is way past his prime, and I'm only way past my prime.
Mm-hmm. All right. Doug, Charlie, do you want to read one of your stories to Doug?
Well, we exhausted the Moon Ninja saga. I still have plenty of Nutty Noodle Man if we want that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's give people what they want.
Okay. I've recently moved the folder. I need to see what I did with that.
So, Doug, Charlie used to be a prolific author when he was young, like 5 or 6 or something. And we've been doing readings of his work. And you're going to be treated to one of his mainline stories, his prime intellectual property, Nutty Noodle Man. If he can find it.
I found it.
That's another thing, by the way, Doug. You are a writer, right? You write.
Jesus, what don't you do, Doug?
Hang on, can we switch it up?
I've written
Doug, do you have a story you'd like to read at all? I know I'm kind of jumping on you, but if you're not prepared, it's cool.
It would probably take me a minute to pull it up.
That's okay. We'll stall while you pull it up if you're down to read it. Jackson, Charlie, have you guys watched the PlayStation thing stream?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah. We watched it together, actually. I'm going to go against the grain here and say I quite like the PlayStation 5 design.
I thought the design was fine.
Yeah, but everyone seems to hate it from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Because of the asymmetrical design. You see like the thick ass on it down the bottom.
Oh yeah, like a pregnant's belly. Who gives a shit though? You don't even fucking see. Who the hell looks at their console while they're playing? Who cares? I don't care if it looks like a fucking dead mule, as long as it's good. But the games themselves, I really like the one with the cat, the Cyberpunk or whatever it's called.
Stray?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. That was adorable. Little cat with a backpack.
There was also one that was super impressive to me. It was the one with like the anime kind of looking one, or the Pixar movie looking one. I mean.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
No, I don't remember.
Genuinely like a Pixar movie in gameplay. It looked great. And then there was also Kena, the Bridge of Spirits, and then Ratchet and Clank also looked super impressive from like a technological standpoint. Or the quick loading and shit that they can do now, Kaya, with their SSD.
Yeah. I'm hoping that finally games won't take like 10 minutes to load. Dude, that shit fucking ruins games, man. If it takes your game to load, if it takes that long, just don't release it at that point. Me and my friends wanted to play Divinity Original Sin, but on the Switch, it takes literally 3 minutes. I measured. It takes anywhere between 3 to 4 minutes to load anything. And it's just too long. At that point, I don't want to play anymore. That's not worth it. I'm loading more than I'm playing. Don't release it.
The worst one I saw was Ark Survival Evolved, that dinosaur sandbox game.
Yeah.
On Switch, takes 4 minutes and 50 seconds to load when you click new game.
Jesus.
Still?
I don't know how you released that. No, but this was when I first saw it back in like probably last year when it came out on Switch.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that game died hard. And yesterday they had the GameSpot stream or something, Game Awards something. PC Gamer.
Don't know about that one.
Don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds like some nerdy shit though.
PC gaming show
apparently.
Yeah, that one.
Billy.
Apparently that one was awful too. Hey, you guys remember when...
Did you see anything you liked from it?
No, I didn't, but I will point out though, so we're recording this on June 14th, and yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of them announcing Metroid Prime 4, and then it never being heard from again.
Crickets.
Yep.
It got you to buy a Switch though, didn't it?
No, I already had it, but I was excited. They got me to be excited, and then, crickets, 3 years in development hell. We'll see if we'll ever get it at this point. I feel like they're gonna really...
I heard very recently they had to restart development on it. Because the design
that was in January, I think. Yeah, they decided that the studio that was working on it did a shitty job, and Nintendo wanted to start from scratch and give it to another studio. I think they give it to Retro Studios now. Doug, do you have your story pulled up?
I do.
Okay, well, you could have interrupted that at any moment. You must be sitting there.
No, I'm not going to interrupt your guys' show.
That's okay, Doug. My house is your house. My show is your show. Go ahead.
Mikasa Sukasa.
All right, so this is a story that I wrote after a softball game. It is, I wrote it in my view of what happened, and then I wrote it in my daughter's view of what happened. All right, so the name of the story is My View of It.
That's pretty inventive.
Okay, fuckers, I never said I was a good writer.
Hey,
yeah, let's not roast him just yet.
We were laughing at a love.
So I was reading through this, and I'm like, okay, so Jackson's gonna interrupt me here.
I'm not gonna say a word, Doug.
Okay. The sweat dripped from my forehead and into my eye. It felt as though one of those wrestlers from years ago threw something blinding concoction at me in the hopes that I would miss my chance of fulfilling my destiny. I knew that this was going to be tough, but I also knew if I didn't do it now, all hope would be lost. I was standing on third base facing my opponent. There was already 2 outs, and if I misjudged this by so much as a fraction of a second, the game and my hopes of going pro would be over. I locked eyes with the catcher who had the ball in the cocked position. I smirked. It was a classic standoff. The catcher slowly started walking towards me, daring me to take my foot off the bag. Like a scene from an old John Wayne movie, I swaggered towards home plate. Throw him out, it came from the stands. The ball rocketed towards me like it was fired from the deck gun of a World War II battleship. I dug my shoes in the dirt and pushed off. The ball flew past my head with the whizzing sound of 1,000 hornets. I was sprinting with everything that I had. I heard the crowd get on their feet. The roar from the fans was drowned out only by my heart thumping in my ears. I was bearing down on that poor catcher like a runaway locomotive. If I so much as thought I saw anything that resembled a ball land in that catcher's glove, I was going to lower my right shoulder just enough so that as to connect right under the mask that is supposed to protect this particular player. I am guessing I probably could have gotten at least 3 teeth out and even more loose if I connected as I had planned. As fate would have it, there would be no dentist appointments needed this day. I heard a couple people screaming behind me and knew that the moment was at hand. I had to make a choice. Do I try and knock the ball loose, or do I take my chances and slide home? As I went down, I felt the dirt and rocks and sand start peeling away my skin. This was going to be bad. The pain was intense. The crowd was going crazy, and I was already losing blood. I slid into home plate, and as the dust settled and the blood ran into the dirt, I heard the voice from above scream, "Safe!" I got to my feet and waited for what I knew was coming. My teammates were going to dump the obligatory bucket of Gatorade on me and then hoist me up in celebration. So that's the first part. The second part is the view from first base. I was watching my father try to catch his breath after jogging to third base. We were playing in a father-daughter game of softball that was to be followed by a cookout.
Aww.
There were about 5 dads that showed up along with my brother and a few random kids. My dad was starting to head home when the catcher, one of my 14-year-old teammates, lobbed the ball towards third base. The third baseman missed the catch and fumbled around for a few seconds trying to pick up the ball. I noticed my dad was nearing home when he went down. It looked like he was trying to slide or something. I didn't understand why, because by the time the third baseman picked up the ball and tossed it to second, he could have just walked across the plate. Anyway, he went down pretty hard and made a whimpering sound no daughter wants to hear her dad make. I think we won, or they won. I'm not sure. It was just for fun. The food wasn't bad either.
So that first part of the story, is that your daughter's thoughts? Like supposed to be her thoughts?
Oh, that's his.
The first part was my thought. The second part was my daughter's thought.
Oh, okay.
How did you not get that?
What do you mean?
I mean, it's just 2 different perspectives.
Yeah, very different.
And I was a little confused on which one was Doug's perspective.
The one that doesn't sound like a child.
Well,
yeah, the second perspective is talking about her father.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Specifically. So, was this a diary? Did you do this?
No, like I said, that story actually happened. I was playing a father-daughter softball game with my daughter, and I slid home, and I tore my leg up, and I was sitting there, and I thought that this would be a funny story to tell from my view of it and my daughter's view of it.
How much do you write? Do you write like common events that you go through? Like, it sounded like a diary kind of thing.
I don't write nearly as often as I used to, but if something that I think is funny or humorous in any way pops into my head, I'll jot it down. Yeah.
It's pretty cute you wrote that about your daughter, though. So, do I make any guest appearances in your stories?
No, Gaia, that would be fan fiction.
I'm still a bit insulted
Doug is
now.
above that. Well, it's no Nutty Noodle Man, but it's not bad.
Would you like to hear one Nutty Noodle Man, Doug? Just as a comparison point?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay.
Just to compare writing styles?
I do imagine you're going to feel a little silly after hearing this and comparing it to your own writing.
Yeah, try not to be jealous.
I did find all 4 chapters of Nutty Noodle Man versus the Army of Armadillos, though.
Okay.
I just don't know if I want to read all 4 of those today. I was going to look for something a little shorter.
Is there any Nutty Noodle Man visits like baseball or anything?
I was big into sports, so I wouldn't be surprised if I had Nutty in like a sports situation. But not in my folders here, I can't find anything with sports.
It's a shame.
Oh, go. What are you shuffling around still? Let's hear it.
Yeah, because I didn't want to read 4 chapters.
You were meant to be doing this the entire time.
Well, I didn't want to read 4 chapters, so instead I'll read a shorter one here.
Okay.
This one is only 3. Okay. Nutty Noodle. What, did I already do this one?
Jesus Christ.
Did I read you the one about Barda?
I don't think so.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Okay.
Just start!
Wait,
Jesus! This is like a fucking Dragon Ball Z
Jesus Christ.
episode.
Doug, can you do it for us?
Yeah, I feel like I've done this one though. Nutty Noodle is a regular noodle living in Noodle Land. Nutty is a very unusual noodle. He's a little devil and a piece of crap and has two friends named Appendix and Birdbrain.
Yeah, you did.
I definitely read this one.
Yeah.
Maybe they all start off the same.
That's possible
like
because
Nutty Noodle Man.
Yeah, because it does go into something different here. So then, yeah, Appendix came from eBay. Don't know where Birdbrain came from. Authorities and FBI still try and figure out mystery. To sing a song that goes like this: Who's an evil monkey? I am. Who's going to get all 3 silver bananas? I, Sam. I, Sam. It loud, say it clear so I can hear you. He sang it over and over again and wouldn't stop until a monkey officer said, "Shut up, you idiot." Barda replied angrily, "Who are you calling an idiot, you freak?" and kept calling each other names until once again, "Shut up, just push me out of this banana blast vessel," which goes 200 miles per minute. So he did. He tumbled like a bucket, falling out of that speeding Veek, going 200 miles per minute. While the monkey officer was tumbling like a bucket that got dropped out of that speeding banana blast, Barda was so mad he hit the radio with all his might, and then he caught the car on fire